Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 42 of Podfluxxx. I'm Kevin Fulton. That is Ricky Reyes. Ricky, what's up, bud?
Not much. Craziness is up.
We've got a long, crazy week. I've got a couple of things that I want to add to whatever we're going to talk about that I'm sure some people aren't talking about. I'm pretty sure one is an original idea. So before we get into, let's be honest and call it what it's going to be, the topic of discussion across all forms of wrestling media this week. I want to take Podfluxxx on a little bit of a different route. So I want to start with the WWE and TNA. I've been, to quote the Macho Man Randy Savage, thinking, and I keep thinking about the Jordan Grace spot in the Royal Rumble. And what popped into my mind to ask you was, do you think that we'll ever be in a place where the WWE will take a TNA talent? Uh, I see it more likely with the women's division than the men's division, uh, and let them be out there like the second to last person in a Rumble, and maybe even let a TNA knockout champion win the WWE Royal Rumble to give us a TNA champion versus WWE champion matchup at WrestleMania? Or do you think this is just WWE playing nice?
I think. Well, I guess yes, if they needed it. I just don't feel that WWE is at a point, certainly now, that they would need
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, I mean, WWE's lent talent to TNA before. Didn't Christian go over?
Christian and what was that kid's name? Ric Flair?
Yeah, yeah,
Was
they
that
went
was
over for like I think it was a Hall of Fame weekend or something for
yeah,
them.
yeah.
Uh, I mean, I think it's the second. I think that they're just playing nice right now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, kind of, trying to just cover all bases when it comes to the social media fans, right? Because that's a good thing to have, or it looks good when a Jordan Grace gets a spot in the Rumble. Um, I don't think that that would ever happen unless it was needed. And if they didn't do it with WCW when willing to do it with WCW when they were hot, or ECW when ECW was hot. It just it's not a necessity for WWE. I don't ever think it would be either, just the way it's built up, because if they wanted a brand versus brand uh promotional war type of thing, they would be able to do it with NXT, because that's kind of the more smart fan base type of audience there with
Right.
NXT. Like, as if, like, it was intriguing. Remember when they all were held hostage in Saudi Arabia, and then all the NXT guys came up for
Had
that
to be on
SmackDown?
SmackDown.
Yeah, that was kind of what that would have looked like. And again, it's because they needed that. That's why that happened. I think that rolled into Survivor Series that year. I think, actually.
Right.
Um, so that was a nice, shake up for WWE. But it, having one or two TNA talents, even in one Royal Rumble, would be a bit of a stretch. I don't know if they're going to do this every year. Um, they're kind of cornering themselves, though, into having to do it because they've done it. So now they're kind of going to be expected to do it. So I don't think it would happen that way. Uh, certainly not at a WrestleMania. Not at a WrestleMania.
I just think I think it would build a lot of interest. Imagine having an outside talent win the Royal Rumble. Obviously it's something they've never done.
Yeah.
Something they've never done before, and it could be something that's excuse me if my signal's cutting out. I think that my cable signal is mad that I am watching last night's Collision while we're trying to record this, and it's doing
Mhm.
whatever it possibly can to disrupt my service. So for just in case you're curious, Eddie Kingston just went 20 minutes with bounty hunter Brian Keith.
Keith, yeah.
And Kingston did a pretty good job of keeping up. So there's that. What do we got next? Coming up next here, I would like to talk about the Bailey situation. So did you watch any bit of Raw on Monday?
No.
No. All right. So basically, on Monday, Bailey came out and was about to challenge Rhea Ripley for WrestleMania. And then Nia Jax came down the aisleway and basically intimidated Bailey out of challenging Rhea Ripley.
Oh.
So fast forward to last night, Bailey gets turned on by all of the Japanese contingent of Damage Control.
Right.
She's going to end up challenging Io Sky, or did challenge Io Sky, which is going to leave us, I'm afraid, with Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley for WrestleMania. What do you think?
No. That's they are making Rhea earn that one, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's not good. I don't like that for multiple reasons. First and foremost is well, I mean, if anyone's going to get a good match out of her, I guess it would be Rhea.
Bro, and the Silver Dome is going to go nuts once she slams that big,
right,
stinky, nasty giant.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one. I don't like it. As a wrestling fan, like I'm not gonna like it. As a worker, I get the challenge of it. Like that's one of those head scratchers and let me think about it the whole way to the building type of situation.
Go drag Razzle to 6 good minutes.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what that is. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Rhea's so, like I said before, Rhea's so good right now that, I mean, I'm sure she'll do just fine and have a good enough match with her. I couldn't imagine Nia Jax beating her though. Really? Because I think she knows a board director that could push that in a certain direction.
The board says to know your role.
Yeah. So I'm not liking that idea. Just because Rhea's so just on another level right now, and it only helps that belt the longer she keeps it, for the next person to take it. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't like that. Creatively, it doesn't. I don't know. We could have went a different direction.
For that, how do you feel about the Bailey Io Sky match?
I'm okay with that. I saw clips of SmackDown and how it all kind of unwinded. I was watching for that stuff. That'll be a really good match. I'm a big EO Sky Mark because she is really, really good, and I think Bailey's good too. So I'm excited. If there's a women's match I'm looking forward to, it's gonna be that one for sure. So I don't know what that really does for the Kyrie and Asuka. I don't know if that does that. Do you beat Bailey and then have Sasha come make the save, and then it's Bailey and Sasha against Asuka and them for the women's, and then I mean, and then do we continue to run through this angle, like, because I don't want everything to end at WrestleMania, because that's like too predictable, right? Like,
So here's what you do then. You beat Bailey at WrestleMania, and then all the Japanese girls are getting steam on her afterwards.
Right.
And then here comes Naomi. They get up on Naomi, and then here comes Sasha.
Right.
And then we got the 3-on-3, and then we can go to SummerSlam.
Right.
And then whoever The Rock picks can be the champion at the end of SummerSlam.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of board meetings that are going to dictate what's happening.
We're going to get there. I promise we're going to get there. I just don't want to get us all fired up and then still have things to talk about afterwards. I have read online, I don't know if you've heard or saw this anywhere, that AEW thinks that they will be able to help their attendance by stopping running smaller markets and only running bigger markets. Where are you on this theory?
Like, I understand why they think that. And it makes sense because, Boise, Idaho doesn't know or care about Adam Page, any of the Pages or Cages for that matter. So that makes sense.
What if all the Pages raged in the cage?
Right. Battle of the Belts, right.
And they burned some sage. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I get why they think that. I guess for them, it's not about quote unquote big money towns as much as it's smart mark towns. I would look at, maybe pick, I don't know, 8 to 10 smart mark towns that you can visit with a smaller venue, and then it'll look better on TV. I don't know, like, look at the old Ring of Honor, how they used to run their pay-per-views back in the day,
Yeah, but 5 of them are going to be inside of Illinois.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was thinking, like, if you'd have to find a cheaper building, but you can run, somewhere near New York City or somewhere in New York between Long Island and New York City. Somewhere you could do Philadelphia, maybe even Baltimore, Orlando, Atlanta, Chicago, obviously, maybe Dallas. They're not too bad in the Texas area. Yeah, they would have to really like Toronto, maybe Seattle, Washington. I don't know. If I was them, I would be looking at some of these promotions that are booking their talent and kind of pulling in 900 to 1,500 people in these small towns and see what kind of buildings they're running or something, because they're barely getting 2,000 people now in a lot of places. And those towns are not exactly those big smart mark towns. They're trying to run Nebraska and places like that. Like, they don't have that kind of reach, I don't think.
Well, that's this collision I'm currently watching is from Edinburgh, Texas. Are you familiar?
Yeah.
So what's the building what's the big building there? How
Oh, I don't
saw
know.
that they sold like 3,000 tickets to this place.
Yeah, I don't know what building that is exactly. But that's where they do. Isn't that where they did Ring of Honor recently? I think, where they had 2 or 3 thousand for Ring of Honor. I don't know if that was Final Battle or a show before that. Um, but Dallas, Fort Worth, you know, that's a good area for them to run. I believe it's up north that way. Um, they've run a few towns in Texas and did pretty good.
I'm trying to find what building that was in. If you can just
Yeah,
uh,
I don't. I'm not sure exactly where that where that is. I think it's up north.
the
Not
Burt
exactly.
Ogan Arena.
Uh-huh.
Let me
What
get
is
to
it?
googling.
What
So
is
the
that?
Burt Ogan Arena holds. Oh, there's going to be a monster truck rally there. So
That
the
makes sense.
capacity is 7,700. Let's call it 7,700.
Okay.
And they put about 3,000 in there.
Okay. So they taped off half of it, right? So they had a giant locker room. Uh, I mean, that's still too big for them. You know
Yeah,
what I
but I
mean?
mean, man, you got to see how tight they're shooting this show.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're shooting this show so tight that have you ever heard of El Hichihero from CMLL? I might be completely butchering. He comes out with
No,
rocks that are on fire. He's like holding fire rocks.
no, I haven't kept up with much CMLL.
Him and Danielson,
Oh, he goes for
him and
the
Danielson
inside
are
out
doing a
head
thing.
scissors,
People in Texas,
and he fucks it up, and everyone's calling it some sort of like crazy leg drop thing, but he basically just fell on. He like Brian tries to sweep his legs up to his neck, and when he locks
yeah,
his feet, Brian falls because the guy's heavy, and he just falls back into like a leg drop, and everybody was like, "I've never seen this move before," and I was like, "Right," because he
it's not a
fucked it up.
thing.
Like it's not a
He,
move, it's a botch.
he just did a crossbody from the top rope where he just like kind of landed at Brian's feet, and Brian was like armbar. uh, yeah. Do you remember when PCO in like 2007, I think, maybe even earlier, was wrestling as like the masked X in TNA?
Yeah,
This
yeah,
that's the vibes I'm getting off of this guy
right.
right now. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know who
any-
he is, but
anyway, we were saying the smaller venues. So yeah, this place holds about 3,000. Or the smaller towns. Is this considered a major metroplex in Texas?
I don't think so. I mean, it's not like Dallas, obviously, or Fort Worth or anything like that. I mean, maybe the people can get there the 20-minute drive or something, but it's nothing crazy. I honestly think it's availability. It's probably an easy to rent building.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those.
So do you don't think the strategy of
No, no,
bigger venue, excuse me, bigger markets, better houses?
no. They have bad houses because they don't know how to draw a house, and they
Because
don't
they
have
have bad
anybody.
because they have bad TV.
Because the TV's awful. That's why I'm saying that it's not about a bigger market. It's about where your market is and knowing your market and where they're at and more going to them as opposed because if you're not going to change the product to where everybody can understand it and want to watch it, then you have to go to where your fans are because they're not going to change how they're doing this. They're not. And they're not doing anything right to grow that in any way, because when they do have a big house, they're not doing anything good to capture those people to bring them along to see the rest of this show. How do you draw 80,000 people, you know, and then how many people bought that pay-per-view, you know, and then you did like half-ass little week-long angles to roll into the next pay-per-view, but in between there, you lost like your biggest star. All these things fell apart in a week, and you know, your TVs from that point on have dropped from, you know, almost in half, where you're barely getting 1,500, 1,800 people consistently to watch your television show. You know, it's, I mean, I understand from their perspective, they think, yeah, let's go hit those big markets, but they're idiots. They don't know what they're doing.
Well, they're doing this because if they do anything else, it's admitting that the Booker of the Year sucks.
Yeah.
And he can't do that.
Right.
You think he's gonna point a finger at himself?
Yeah.
And go, oh man, our attendance blows because I'm the shits?
Right. Yeah. That's not happening.
No, they'll change. They'll change everything, top to bottom, all the way across, from the color scheme to the logo to the ring, the amount of sides it has, the announce team, the color of the mats on the floor, everything, before he turns around and says, maybe I'm just not any fucking good at this.
Clearly.
You know, but it's like, you look at it, you've got Claudio Castagnoli, you know, so far on the back burner here in this Blackpool Combat Club thing that still exists, which is ridiculous. You got Daniel Garcia, who, and I know I keep picking on Daniel Garcia. I like Daniel Garcia. I think he's a good wrestler. I think the way that he showed up on TV one day, and then Tony Khan put him on TV every week without any explanation of who the fuck he is, or anything, or just any reason for us to view this guy. And now he's up there rubbing elbows with FTR. It's just like, you don't belong.
Right.
And it's not his fault.
No.
He's just been presented like, first he was just in the group with the two French Canadian guys, and then he was part of Jericho's stupid thing. Yeah. And then that was over, and now it's just like, it's like all these young guys they have there, they put on TV, they're puppies.
Right.
And then a veteran adopts them, right? And then they're part of that family.
Right.
And then when that family's over, he brings them back to the kennel, and somebody else adopts him. Yeah. So why should I get behind that?
Right.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It totally sucks. But I don't think so. I don't think that like you, the size of the market's the problem. The size of the venue, I think, is a problem.
Yeah.
That's some news I've got from AEW this week. But I think it's time for us to start our descent into why we're here. And we're going to start with another surprise topic from you, or for you. So it's been confirmed, obviously, that CM Punk tore his triceps during the Rumble. We were talking about how odd the end of the men's Rumble looked.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I have decided and determined that they called an audible and changed the finish of the Royal Rumble. Not without permission.
Yeah.
Did you notice there was, right after Punk got hurt, he spent like an extensive amount of time in the corner
Yeah.
communicating with the referees.
Yes.
I think that he probably, because listen, man, when you know when something like, oh, that sucked, versus that's that's dead now. This arm
Yes.
is gone.
Right.
Right? Everybody knows that when they're hurt versus when they're injured.
Injured. Right.
Okay. I think that he relayed the information that he was injured to the
Yep.
referee.
Right.
The referee relayed it to the back. Triple H said change the finish. And I think they changed the finish. And I think that's why it was such a like unorganized, like 2-man clusterfuck at the end of that rumble. What do you think the odds of that are?
Really good, because the way he screamed at the hard cam, "I'm not losing to Dusty's kid." Uh, I mean, that's heelish, right? And like,
Mm-hmm.
Punk knows better than to, if he's going to be the top baby face, you know, chasing a heel champion, not to bleed any of that into what he's doing, you know. So that would be the signal, you know, that we're going home, due to a drastic change. So that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I didn't really think about that, but it all kind of makes more sense now that the match was that way, because there was a lot of like so much dead time, right? Like, there
Mm-hmm.
was just so much of nothing happening. They could have been prepping everything for, here's where we're going, letting everyone know, the truck and pyro and fucking, you know. But I mean, it makes sense, and they did what they had to do for that, you know, for what needed to be done at that moment. So I'm sure if Triple H is in the back and he's thinking like he might be injured, and then he says he is, I mean, it makes sense, you know.
Well, speaking of making sense and things that don't, so Punk came out Monday on Raw,
Right.
cut the promo,
Yeah.
you know, and says he'll be back, got the big pop. He was
Right.
all emotional. People bought it, hook,
Right.
line, sinker. And then we get the Cody Rhodes promo. And Cody is just about to announce who he's going to challenge for WrestleMania 40 in the main event, and we get Seth Rollins. And then Seth Rollins, did you see this promo?
I did not know that. That's one I didn't see.
Okay. So Seth comes down to the ring, right? And just buries Roman Reigns. Absolutely buries him. Don't you want to fight for the title that the workhorse has? The guy who actually shows up to work, the guy that can wrestle, you know, just all this stuff. And he's trying to, which logic is now out the window, right? Because if you're Cody Rhodes, excuse me, if you're Seth Rollins, character wise, you're on a bad wheel. Okay. Cody Rhodes has already beaten you twice. Are you going to push for that guy to challenge you for your title at WrestleMania?
Well, I mean, he has the ticket to close the weekend. So isn't that the spot that you want to be in?
Hold on. That used to be the ticket to close the weekend.
Well, I mean, oh, so okay. As far as Monday went, as far as Monday was concerned, um, when they did this angle, I could see Seth saying to himself, Sunday night, it needs to be me and Cody. So he's kind of putting himself over Roman because
well, the way this is all shaking out, this match might be on Friday morning.
Well, I mean, not even in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, no, this is a lunchtime
in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia at Fan Access.
Right. This is
At
going to
Fan
be
Access.
at the CZW show up the street.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this could be one of those 1 a.m. Just run to the next building in your gear situation.
Yeah, already in the ring.
Yeah. Uber to ring is your runway, is your walkway, right?
Right.
Well, I'm looking at it like Seth wanted to be the last match on the last night of the weekend or whatever, but I mean, character-wise, he would think that he would be that guy, and if Cody's going out there saying that he's not challenging Seth, he should feel like I'm the guy you should be chasing. So it made sense. That makes sense to me with having that wrestler ego of like, I should be the last thing that everyone sees that weekend. So.
But I get it, but the way it sounded, like the way the promo came off, like it felt like Seth Rollins being like, "Hey man, if you're gonna finish your story and beat anybody, please come beat me. Take this." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was almost like he was saying, "Hey, you can't beat Roman, but you can definitely beat me. So if it'll help you out, I'll just lay down."
Yeah.
Like it was very odd. And so fast forward to SmackDown last night. Did you see this promo?
I didn't see all of it. I saw up until the part the board of directors showed up. So I didn't really. I caught the clip going into The Rock's entrance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really understand what he was saying or what he was meaning. I get what he was meaning because of those slow motion walk towards each other to stand there for an uncomfortably a long amount of time. I don't like it. Like, I did not like it at all.
Well, let me get you up to speed.
Yeah.
Okay. Because first of all, I didn't watch this on SmackDown. I watched the YouTube clip of it last night of the full segment. Okay. I believe it was 18 minutes and 43 seconds.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
So Roman's music hits.
Right.
Here comes the bloodline. It is 4 minutes, Ricky, and a handful of seconds before the bloodline gets from the entrance to the ring. Like 3.5 for them to get there.
Right.
But a word is not uttered into the microphone till 4 minutes and 30 some odd seconds.
Man.
Okay. And then YouTube pulled a hold my beer on the WWE because as soon as Roman grabbed the microphone and started to talk, they played an ad. And I was like, oh, okay, skip ad. And so Roman runs down, quote unquote, his little brother Seth, is what he called him. And then he talked about how Seth is stupid for working so much. And he's just jealous because he works as much as he works, and Roman works 10 times less but makes 10 times more.
Okay. I saw that clip. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, and then just some other, and now we're at like 9 minutes, and he said 3 sentences and walked to the ring. And then here comes Cody's music. And then Cody takes another half of a lifetime to get to the ring. But they went to a WWE commercial break during his entrance. And then they came back and his music started again. So he waited for the whoa again in the entranceway. All right. So now we're at like 14 minutes.
Oh man.
Okay. I'm not even kidding. And then he gets in the ring. And then it was weird because he almost like, you know how he's got that inflection in his voice
Yeah.
and the way he speaks, and everything seems theatrical.
Yes.
He was doing that, but it was like sing-songy. He was like, I've spoken this week with many legends, and just like it was almost like he was trying to sing it, but it was
Yeah.
also like he was getting ready to re-audition Stardust. And which Stardust coming 2024, if his year keeps going the way it's going. And he basically was like, I'm going to finish my story and I'm going to take your title, just not at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then he was like, and one of the legends I spoke to was this man or some type of, and then the Rock's music hits.
Yeah.
The place goes extra chromosomes everywhere, like batshit bananas.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rock came to the ring. Him and Cody Rhodes did the Carl Weather, Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator handshake.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Carl Weathers, by the way.
Yeah.
And Cody left. It's the 17-minute mark of this promo. Roman, I swear to God, Roman and Rock got closer and closer and
Yeah. I
closer.
saw that.
They got face to face,
Right.
and the show shut off. Now what I wonder is inside that building, right?
Right.
What do? They just turn the lights off, and then when they
I
turn
was
them back
one.
on, The Rock and Roman
I
Reigns
was.
are
I was
something
wondering the
on.
same. I was wondering the same thing. Like, how do they get out of that?
Yeah,
you know?
because it was like you didn't say anything for TV,
Right.
and I know you're not going to do anything in the building that's going to advance TV with TV being off,
Right.
right?
And they're not going to run that as a dark match. So
Right. So
right.
it's just like, and then like, how do you tell the people to go home? Like, there's
Right.
20,000 motherfuckers and they're just standing there staring at them. So there are 20,000 people staring at them, staring at each other, and they're kind of staring at each other, waiting to see when these 20,000 people are going to get up and go home.
Right.
But they're not going to go until they go. So now
Right.
we're in a Mexican standoff.
Yes. Do you have everybody all hands on deck in the back, and then they just do like a giant nice pull apart because they're not really after each other, they're just trying to stare harder at each other?
I'd like to think they did one of those threatening looking Samoan dances from rugby at each other,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
grunted,
yeah,
and then everybody just went a different way.
yeah.
In
Probably
my
not.
mind's eye, that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
Uh, but so now I guess we're gonna get Rock and Roman, which brings us to today, and the internet is losing its we just lost service. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
The internet is losing it.
Yep.
People are very upset with The Rock. Very upset. Like Dave Shearer from PWI Insider. Did you see that?
No.
PW Insider, Dave Shearer. He writes a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
He wrote like it was a total too long, didn't read. But
Right.
basically, he's pissed at The Rock. Everybody's pissed at The Rock. They feel like that he's just just imposing his will, kind of like he tried to do to the DC universe when he booked himself as Black Adam to fight to fight Superman, and the whole cinematic universe fell apart. Um, there's like 100,000 Justice for Cody tweets.
I saw that. Yeah.
Okay. And then there's just as many idiots out there like justice for Cody. What about justice for the poor
Right.
victims of Vincent? Like, stop.
Right.
Let's separate the two here.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Um, and then there are people who are straight up saying, like, quote unquote, confirming that all of this was just The Rock's idea and making him out to be the heel.
Right.
Lay it on me. I just did a lot of talking.
Yeah. Like I said, it did not make sense. I guess my question would be, if Punk wouldn't have gotten hurt and won the Rumble, would this still have happened? The Rock.
I think The Rock and Roman was going to happen regardless because
Okay.
I think Punk was going to win the Rumble
And
and
wrestle set.
challenge Seth Rollins. That's
Okay.
what makes me feel like they changed the finish
Yeah.
in
Well,
the
yeah,
moment.
that all makes sense. And then this does feel like it's got a lot of holes in it.
Yes.
Like it was done a few days ago, you
Mhm.
know. I's were crossed and T's were dotted. To kind of just think like, we'll just wash it away. We'll just do it quick, rip the Band-Aid off this week and get all promotional stuff pushed into that direction. So I was thinking about this, like how bad it was after watching it. And then I thought, okay, they have Elimination Chamber to set more up and kind of right their wrong. So I think that's how they're taking it, that we can do something huge and set off some hot angles through Elimination Chamber, and everybody will talk less about how bad this is. I think that's what they're going to do. Does that mean Gunther and Cody now? Gunther and Braun? Where does Cody go? Because he just basically, so I had a friend shoot me a bunch of TikToks of this stuff happening Friday night. And he said, so Cody won the Royal Rumble for what? With a question mark. And I thought, yeah, I don't know. And he's just a regular casual fan, right? Like he says, none of this makes any sense. And I don't care to
Right.
watch
So
this
if the
match.
casual fans,
Right.
if the casuals are lost,
Yes.
then there's a huge problem.
Yes. Because he's a person that, you know, like watches the Rumble the same way we all do, like to see where they're going. And what was the point in watching the Rumble if this is not where we were going? Like, so yeah, it doesn't make sense. I'm not sure. I mean, let's face it, WrestleMania is going to be hugely successful regardless. Whether you're talking about how good it is or talking about how bad it is, you're still talking about it. So that's where we are with that. It's like a Super Bowl having a bad game. You're still going to watch it next year. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, when the Niners or the Cowboys in the 90s were just killing motherfuckers by like 40 points, you still watch to see the absolute, massacre that was the NFC division at that time, right? Because
Right.
the real Super Bowl was the NFC Championship game. Like I remember
Right.
my dad always saying, like, whoever wins this is just going to walk through the AFC, and that's exactly what would happen for years,
Right, because
So
in those years, the Bills showed up.
yeah, the Bills just were like the Barry Horowitz, like
Right.
they're just here every week, Um, but that's the thing, right? I mean, WrestleMania is going to be WrestleMania, and the $1 billion question, I guess, is and then what? So if it obviously it's going to be Rock versus Roman. So what's the number that Roman will be at after WrestleMania, because he's not going to lose the belt to The Rock. So does he lose the belt at SummerSlam
To Cody.
to Cody?
But then Cody's got to lose to Seth at WrestleMania. And now you're bringing Cody back. Now Cody's going to be 0-2 at WrestleMania.
But is Cody wrestling Seth? That's where Gunther comes in.
If he's not picking Roman,
right?
You think he's going to pick Gunther?
Does he have to pick anybody? Because he's given up the spot at WrestleMania to The Rock. So does his heat with Gunther intensify, because Gunther is more of, like an obstacle for him for the meantime,
Well,
I don't know.
because I was going to say the shitty thing is going to be we're going to have Rock and Roman on one night, and then we're going to have a babyface versus babyface with Seth and Cody on the next night, which sucks.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna. I think we might be getting Drew and Seth.
Cody
and Gunther. Because and then you get Cody and Gunther. Then you get the Roman leaving WrestleMania again, and then I think he breaks Hogan's first record off of that. Is that right?
I believe so.
So do we go to SummerSlam and then it's Cody's time?
Because the board of directors owes him a favor, right?
There you go. There you go. I mean, that it's the question is, and then what? Like, WrestleMania is going to be WrestleMania. It's going to break all the numbers, all the records, huge, crush everything, but it'll just make WrestleMania stronger. So having The Rock there, yes, it's going to be huge. What's that crowd going to be like? Is that going to be, because that's a Philadelphia crowd? So is The Rock going to be is it going to be Hogan, The Rock, just replacing Roman with Hogan, and them just not having The Rock stuff? Is he going to be smart enough to like play into that this time and go in as the heel? He don't have to go in as the heel now, but like come when that bell rings, you better act like it.
I was fortunate enough to be in the Nassau Coliseum SummerSlam 2002 when The Rock got his ass whipped and booed out of the building against he who shall never ever be named again. And he did not embrace what the atmosphere of the crowd was there.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of guys, I feel like, can't. They know they should, but they don't know how.
He didn't do it with Hogan.
Nope. He didn't do it with Hogan either. And that was You know,
That the same year
I think so. The year after, year
or the year
before.
after? Oh, before.
I don't calendars. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it was close though, is what I'm saying. Like he's getting these
Yeah,
reactions within a couple of years at huge events. These are not things that you just
yeah,
overlook.
right.
Yeah.
Um, it's gonna be, and if with it being just like you said, like it's Philadelphia,
Yeah.
like he's gonna need an umbrella and a
Mhm.
poncho, like he's going to a Gallagher concert.
Yeah.
They're oof, either that or they've got between now and then to get him back on TV. And I mean, listen, Philadelphia is different than Des Moines and
Right.
Boise and
Mhm.
all these middle America places where the Rock's going to walk
Yep.
through the door and he could have bitten the head off of a baby in the parking lot and it's still okay.
Right.
But that's not going to fly in Philly. So he's got
No.
between now and then to figure out a way to get himself into the graces of the smart fan while not losing the casuals and the regulars.
Yeah, but how does he do that when Roman doesn't show up every week either? Like, either one of them it's a heel versus heel on Sunday night at the end of the night is what it comes down to. Like, are the fans going to take in Roman as the face? I mean, for what? He hasn't been there all year either, I
Right.
mean, the like when they did it with Triple H and Cena, it was different because at least they were both there and they just didn't want Cena, right?
Hmm.
Remember all the years they were doing it with Cena where they were just kind of the smart fans were overtaking the WrestleManias just to boo him out of the building, and he just kind of kept the course, and they came around. But this is such a unique situation because they painted Roman in the mold of The Rock, where he only comes in once a month or right before and after a pay-per-view. Now you have two of those guys wrestling each other like mirror images, right? The fans don't get to see Roman every week, you know. So it's I don't know. I mean, I feel like I don't know if there's going to be as definitive as The Rock versus Hogan, but it's going to be a very mixed bag, that
Yeah,
match. I mean, it's going to be
because
insane, is what it's
what
going to be.
we're not even taking into consideration right now is we're talking about the Philadelphia fans, where we haven't even talked about the international nut jobs.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Rocky fucks goats. It's gonna be nuts in there.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's I don't know. It's just the crowd reaction. If they're standing around doing nothing on a SmackDown, wait till they have 30 minutes at the end of WrestleMania to stand there and stare at each other.
Yeah,
It may be an hour-long match before they touch.
yeah. The 26-minute lockup.
Yeah, I mean,
Um, Jesus Christ, this is all wild. Did you see how last week all of a sudden his daughter is the
yeah,
general manager of NXT?
that was good. Yeah,
Regal just shows up out of the blue. He's like, "You're in charge now," and turns around and walks away. Like, what? He should start calling himself the board.
yeah. There you go.
So, I mean, I don't see how they can uh, ingratiate him to the fans. I don't see.
I don't know. I mean, you like realistically, does he wrestle before WrestleMania? How many more stare-offs and funny promos at each other is he gonna need to do? Is he gonna start singing a song again? Do we bring back Elias? Maybe they do a duet. Like, what are we supposed to
They
do
better
with The
hurt
Rock?
him. Here's how you get the sympathy on him, right? And it sucks because he probably won't commit to it. So you would have to do it really close to WrestleMania. I say 2-3 weeks before Mania, right? Solo, like barbershop windows him.
Yeah.
Boom. Like the most violent thing they have put on WWE TV in years needs to happen. And then we need to not hear another word from him. And then his music needs to hit in Philadelphia.
Then Vince poops on him.
The poop jokes, not cool. Ask Max Caster. Did you see that?
No.
He did a freestyle for one of his matches last night.
Really?
And he was like, "You're trying to battle rap me. That's a bad plan. I'm freaky with the words like I'm Vince McMahon." And
Oh wow.
yeah, and the internet is super upset about that. I don't know why, especially that nerd David Bixenspan I was telling you about last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very. Everybody's very upset with Max Caster, which is so fucking stupid. Shout out to Max. I can't. I'm excited for Raw on Monday because now
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. The good thing is we don't know. I don't like knowing who's going to win the Rumble. I don't like knowing what direction they're going into. So at least this keeps us tuning in, I guess, to find out what's going to happen next. And I don't like when WrestleMania ends everything. It's gotta move along still because there's nothing to end. That they don't ever stop. So I feel like if Rock and Roman does end up happening at the end of the Sunday night, Roman wins again, and then we're off to SummerSlam, I would imagine. I mean, please don't do it in Saudi Arabia. But
you know what we haven't considered at all here?
What?
Which is the key to all of this. Dude, hot off the press. Damian Priest.
Money in the Bank.
The Money in the Bank. Okay, so hang with me. Seth does wrestle Cody at WrestleMania.
Okay.
And Cody wins.
Right.
And Priest cashes in immediately, just like Seth Rollins did.
Yeah.
Okay? So then we get to June, and Cody's in the Money in the Bank. And he wins the Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. And everybody thinks that he's going to challenge Priest because Priest fucked him.
But he goes to Cody.
But he goes to fight Roman.
All I ask, that makes all the sense.
I feel so much better about all this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need a shot of Priest running down that long ass ramp and Seth just kind of doing the behind him.
Yeah.
And then the throwback to when he was hitting that beeline to the ring.
Yep.
Like that would be a very cool moment for everybody involved. I was just wondering when that was up, right? Because that's in June, Money in the Bank.
Right.
Yeah, so he has to use it before the next Money in the Bank. So we'll see. Or do we get to Monday Night Raw and he cashes in, with that crowd? So either way, I would rather him do it at Mania just because it'd be so much bigger. And I'd love to see Seth's face like, hey, that's my spot.
Yeah. You son of a bitch.
Right? You're welcome.
Looking back like, oh, he's fucked.
Right.
Sidebar: Prince Nana is the most entertaining person on television who actually does nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just having a good time. Like,
How old is Prince Nana?
in his 40s, maybe late 40s.
It's got to be.
He's got it.
It's
Well,
got
he's
to be.
around. He's definitely my age because I think we all started within the same couple of years of each other. He was originally trained with Homicide and Loki and all those guys in New York.
Yeah, but didn't he? Wasn't he doing jobs on Monday Night Raw, like dark matches in like 2004?
Yeah, yeah, because he was a big Kettner guy, and
Okay,
Jim Kettner really pushed for the guys that he liked. He could get them on TV as job guys pretty regularly.
right.
Yeah,
Jim Kettner. That was the
East
ECWA.
ECWA. Yeah, the Super 8 guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was one of his guys that he would help, like Ace Darling and a bunch of other guys that were like good workers, but could never get their break.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. You got anything else you want to go over tonight?
No, that was pretty much that was pretty much it.
I mean, there was only really one thing to talk about, so
Right.
we had to
Yeah.
stretch an hour out of the rest of the nonsense.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, mother fluxers, for Ricky Reyes, I'm Kevin Fulton. I'm going to run the gimmick, and we will catch you next week, right after I find the gimmick button. The gimmick button's gone. We're fucked. Oh my god. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I can't stretch any further. Um. All right. I'm just gonna end the recording. Podfluxxx.